Please be quiet. Top, you need to write 8. Okay. First, we're going to talk about opposite rays. How would you guess that I would draw a ray opposite AB?
BA.
No. It's not there. I would need to draw it. I would go the exact what? Opposite direction. So together they would make a what?
Line.
Very good.
That's it.
So I could say here that ray AB and ray AC
Make line.
are opposite what?
Raised.
Okay, easy peasy, huh? They also make what is called a straight angle. The measure of any straight angle is always equal to 180 degrees. I want all these given back to me. There they are. Kind of start passing those around. Feel somebody catching in the middle.
Denied.
Other side. Who wants to catch? Okay, pass those around. Get the extras back to me. I want you to turn them back in at the end of the hour.
Whoa. I'm Austin. There you go, Blake. You can get first one.
Okay, if you notice on the top of these are what's called a, what is that called, guys? Nope. On the top of it.
He's got yellow.
Protractor.
Protractor.
Did you move that one?
Swat.
Sean? Jumping around.
Quiet, please. Now, these are not yours to keep. These need to stay in this classroom. But we can use them. You guys all got one? You guys all got one? Got one?
Yes. I took care of him.
Is there any more left? Any more extras? Okay.
I should be.
Measure that straight line you just did a picture of. Do it with me here on the board. Or that we just, not took a picture of, that we just drew. Put the axis, we'll call it A right there. We'll zoom in here so you can see a little better.
Whoa, that's crazy.
0 to what? 180, or the red numbers, can you see how they start at 10? The red numbers are from right to left, okay? See how it makes it straight? See how why that's 180 degrees, that straight angle? This is how you measure angles. Basically along a circle, the degrees. Now, with that in mind, we need to figure out how do we write angles.
The angle sign above.
First, let's draw a picture of an angle. If you were someone who was trying to point out to me and say, hey, I want to talk about that angle right there, how do you think you could describe it to me? describe this angle to me. You want to name it, in other words.
BAC,
Okay.
angle.
Now, we would want to say angle, but instead of writing the word angle, we're going to do that. Angle BAC. Can anybody think of another way that you could name it that would also be okay? CAB. What did I forget?
Angle
CAB. You have to write that angle, because if not, I'm thinking you're talking about a plane.
Oh, sorry.
So you have to say that, make sure you write the angle. Now, would ABC be correct?
No.
No. Always name the angle in the order you would draw it. So why would ABC not be the right angle? That would be a different angle, would it not? Because if I draw it, that says I'm telling you to go from A, then to what?
B.
And then to C. I'm drawing that angle right there, aren't I?
Yes.
If I would say ABC, I'm drawing that angle. And that's not the one I'm wanting to speak of. There is another thing that you could call this one in this case only. In this case, you could call it angle, just plain old angle A.
Why only that one?
And that's a great question. Why could I call it just angle A in this case?
Because it's on.
Would there be any other angle that would I be confused if you said, hey, I like angle A over there? Would I know which one you were talking about? Is there any other angle I could be talking about? Probably. Probably not, because when you say angle A, you're talking about what? That's the vertex, right? Now, however, if I said angle A down here, would that work down here?
Can you move it up a little?
Sorry.
No.
Of course, it would help if you could see it, right?
No, because there's two angles.
Would I know which angle you were talking about if I said angle A here?
No.
So no, you couldn't say that here, but up here you what?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you could, because there wouldn't be any confusion. Here, I wouldn't know if you were talking about angle what?
BAD.
BAC or angle what?
BAD.
So there's confusion there, agreed?
Agreed.
It can get a little dicey and a little confusing if you don't kind of, when I say an angle, to this day, I draw it with my eyes. If I say, okay, they're talking about DAB, in my eyes I say DAB. I kind of draw it, so I know which one they're talking about. Because it can get very confusing. Because you get all these lines going together, you don't know whether it's BCA or BAC or ABC, and they're all different angles. Because isn't BAC, BCA, and ABC all a different angle up here on top?
Yes.
ABC, that's that angle, right? BCA, that's that angle. BAC, that's that angle. I use the same three letters and I describe three different angles. So as you can see, it can get confusing. With that in mind, especially when we have situations like this, sometimes you will see in the book, this is everybody's favorite way to do it, you'll see a little 1 in here, a little 2 in here, a little 3, a little 4, a little 5. You think they're saying that that's 1 degree?
No.
Probably not. What they're saying is that's
Angle 1.
angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5. The only problem with that, you say, well, why don't we do that all the time? It's stupid. You guys write this down just a second. Look up here. Everybody stop writing. Yes, I can name angle 1, 2, 3 for you. Like, that's a lot easier. Agreed? To know what you're talking about. And that's why they do that. But the problem is, how would you label on a picture angle BAD by a number? That'd be kind of hard, wouldn't it? Because you've put it right over here, you kind of can't see it. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I say BAD, I'm talking about this one, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Really, the only truly efficient way that you can name any angle is this way. Is using what? Basically drawing it with the letters, correct? But, you know, they have faster ways to do it. Sometimes you can just say that one when you know what you're talking about. And if you're ever unsure, ask yourself that question. Would I know which one, would someone else know which angle I was talking about if I wrote just that? They would here for angle A, would they here?
No.
They'd have no idea. Okay? So the numbers work good, but they can't work for everything in situations like this. This is where you need letters too. So that's kind of my spill on name and angles. Does that make sense to everyone? Is there any questions on that? It can get, like I said, when you have a bunch of different names, it can look like hieroglyphics a little bit when you have angle ABC, angle BCA, angle blah, blah, blah. You know, you just got to take the time to look at it, write it with your finger, with your eyes, whatever you got to do. Okay? With that in mind, how many of you ever measured angles with a protractor before?
I did, it was a long time ago.
Okay. It's probably been a long time ago, but we'll do it. What I'm going to do is draw a couple of angles here. I've got that frozen so you guys can finish writing that down, but I'm going to draw about 3 or 4 angles. Talk about what type of angles they are. And I know you can't probably write them down exactly how I have with the exact same measure. Oops. But we can do the best we can. We're going to measure 3 angles. Okay, and I just want you guys to watch me do this up here. Don't worry about writing it down, in fact. Because you can always go online and watch it again if you just really want to write it down or see me do it again. So don't worry about writing this down. Everybody hear me?
Oh, I forgot about this game recording.
Okay. See how I put the hole right there over the vertex? Everyone see?
Yeah.
So what I do is I measure up and see how far it goes up. Now, I'm going from right to left. Which one do you think? I mean, look at this. Is this a 140 degree something angle, or is it probably a 30 something angle?
30 something.
Probably 30 something. There's 30. And there's 1, 2, how many count there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll say. Approximately 35 degrees, isn't it? This is called an acute angle. And here's another thing, how we write measure. We put a little lowercase m, we write, that means measure of angle 1 is equal to 35 degrees. And it is acute. You don't write angle 1 equals 35, you write what?
And
Measure of angle 1 equals 35 and then put the degrees.
is acute a part of the answer?
I'm just doing an example here. I'm just kind of going over each part. I wanted to name what type of angle they are and, you know. What type of angle does this look like it is?
Right angles.
Wow, it's 90 degrees, which is also known as a right angle. What's the sign? I wrote 2 right here. You usually see that. Have you guys seen that before on pictures? It
Yes.
means right angle. So the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees. What about here? I find line, the 180 there. You think this is the number above 90 or below?
Above.
So it's there's 140.
143 it looks.
Yeah, 143 it looks like.
Yep, okay. 143 degrees. So the measure of angle 3 is equal to 143 degrees. What are these called?
Obtuse angles.
Obtuse. Funny how everybody remembers those. It's so weird. Nobody ever has problems remembering obtuse, acute, and
Right.
One other thing I'd like to talk about is, for some reason, this will mess with people sometimes. You've got a situation like this. Let's call this A, B, C, D, E, and F. Let's call this angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's say the measure of angle 1 is equal to 50 degrees. The measure of angle the measure of angle BAD is equal to 100 degrees. What's the measure of angle 2 equal to?
30 degrees.
And actually, go up here on measure of angle 1. Let's make it 60 degrees. Okay? You guys with me?
Yeah.
Make the measure of angle 1 60 degrees. Everybody write that down. Don't blurt anything out yet. I'm going to label the picture. Then I'm going to draw this like this with an arrow to kind of say that's they want to know. Do they not want to know from here to here? Is that what they're asking?
Yes.
What you guys got to remember is the concept of the two smaller parts equal to larger part any different here? We're just measuring. God, it's bad, D. I am so sorry. I just learned how to ride, huh? 60. See, people tend to have a problem with this because, what's weird is they won't have a problem with this. What's that?
40. Same thing.
Obvious, isn't it? I mean, but is it much more obvious here than it is here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is something we're used to measuring all the time, isn't it? Distance from here to here. The only difference here is we're measuring it along a circle, basically. That's how you measure angles. But the two smaller parts still equal the whole, don't they? So if the whole thing's 100, this part is 60, then what's left for this one to be?
40.
40 degrees. That's all there is to it. Okay?
What's the 10 degrees down there for?
That's 100. Here to here, 60. Is that a little better?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is here to here is left is 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like
These
to make sure
angles,
it's
another thing, angles, angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4 are all
equal to 1.
called adjacent. You know adjacent means like street adjacent to or something like that? The word adjacent basically
Next
means
to.
beside. Okay? So there's no, so basically adjacent angles are angles beside each other. However, that of course is not the proper way to define it because, if you draw an angle like this and an angle like that, those two are not adjacent. Everybody look up here before you write that down. Those two are not adjacent. Do you see why? They don't share a side, right? Those two, angle 1 and angle 2, are not adjacent either. Why do you think? Because they don't share a vertex, which is called. However, when I draw it like this, what do you think about those two?
Adjacent.
Those are adjacent because they share a vertex and a common side. Okay? Write that down and get your little red books out and we'll do a couple examples and we'll sign the assignment.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to, let's look at it. Yeah, there's a couple. We're gonna start, I want you guys to open your little red books to page 8. The bad thing about writing on the board is these things don't contain nearly as well as you like them to. Especially writing in this area.
I just kept looking at her in class.
All right, let's look at number 8. I'm sorry, let's look at page 8. Look at number 1. What do we see inside that problem there? What wonderful world of what? Just glance at number 1 and tell me what you see.
Gibberish.
Huh?
Oh, equation.
No.
What do you see? 4x plus 14. Right now, before I even know what in the world the problem's about, what am I probably going to need to create?
An equation.
An equation. If it looks like an algebra problem, there's a really good chance I'm going to have to create an equation. But I have to create a valid equation. I got to figure out how they relate to each other. First of all, they say these are opposite rays. QS bisects PQT. What do you think bisect means?
By side itself?
Anybody?
Two.
Important word.
sections.
How about to cut in half?
I'm close with
And so here's another thing we need to get used to doing. Lots of times with angles, it's very important that we label our picture. Basically, by saying that this bisects this, I'm saying that this angle is congruent to this angle. And we mark that on our picture by just one mark. You see the picture up here at the top? See how they've got that marked like that? Let's say you had a bunch of different angles here, and I was wanting to say that this angle is congruent to this angle, and that was congruent to that. See how I use 2 marks here, 1 mark here? That's how we do that. Okay, that's just a quick, I want to try to get some time to work on your assignment, but there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, label your picture. PQT. The whole thing is what? 60 degrees. PQS is what?
4x plus
4x plus 14.
Find the value of x.
4x plus 14 equals 60
No.
Nope.
for an equation.
4x.
You might think the 4x plus 14, but think about it. Does this, the measure of this angle, does it equal the measure of that big thing?
No.
It doesn't, does it?
4x Plus 14.
If this one is 4x plus 14, what's this one?
4x plus 14.
Because I said they're the same, right? The two parts equal the what? So 4x plus 14
Times 2.
plus what?
4x plus
4x plus 14. When I add those two together, what should I get?
60.
I should get 60, shouldn't I?
One of them equals 30.
Agreed?
Yes.
Now, that's the most general way I can do it. Did any of you see that because this bisects this, is this whole thing 60, what's the only way to split up
60.
60 is to split it up as what?
30. 30.
So you could solve this equation, or you could say that 4x plus 14 equals what? Either way, and you'll see, we will get the same answer. I get 8x plus 28 is equal to 60. Subtract 28, subtract 28. And I get 8x is equal to,
32.
32
32.
divided by 8. X is equal to what?
4.
Let's see what I would get over here. Subtract 14, subtract 14, 4x is equal to 16, divide by 4. What did I get x equal to over here?
4. 4.
Either way would work, wouldn't it? The whole thing is looking at the picture and being able to write a valid equation, something that makes sense from the information that's been given to you. Okay? There's always different ways to skin a cat.
Cat.
What, you guys don't skin cats all the time?
made my day.
No.
Well, kind of.
It's always different ways.
That's a saying. Of course, little I don't skin cats at home. I am not a,
Mexico,
as I am not a cat fan. I am a dog person.
Mexico windows.
I still would not. Nah, come on.
No, are you serious? It's China.
Remember, this is all being recorded.
You're taking
Huh?
me serious?
Shout out
No.
to P11 on
You
Instagram.
didn't know that?
Follow me.
Any shout outs equal attention. Got it? Right here, PQS. Guys, see if you can do this next one on your own.
Same thing.
On number 2, you're dealing with the same picture. I'm gonna mute this, redraw the picture on another sheet of paper, and I wanna see if you guys can figure out with the information given, most important thing, first thing I would do is label your picture. When you are confused, here's another thing. Most of the time when you look at that, you say, God, that doesn't look like there's enough information there. Read back your bold directions at the top and see if there was something they told you about the situation that you've forgotten about. What is true for both 1 and 2?
PQT plus 16.
That they're opposite rays and the QS what?
Bisects PQT.
Ah.
But we knew the first.
So what does that mean about those two angles there?
They're
They're,
the same. Congruent.
adjacent.
They're adjacent, that is true.
But they don't-
But if they bisect, what does bisect mean?
Cuts in half.
Half.
So it cuts it into 2 equal halves. So this is the same measure as what?
The
So, is there anything that is equal here? There isn't?
Yes.
Didn't we just say that this is the same measure as that?
Yes.
yeah.
Do we have something that represents each of those angles?
Yes.
So basically, I could say this angle is equal to that angle, is it not? Isn't that what that's saying? What is this angle? This is 3x plus what?
13.
And we're saying it's equal to this angle. What's that angle?
6x minus 2.
Is that a valid equation from the information that's given to me?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes it is.
Okay.
Give a valid equation. Now all that's left is algebra.
Makes so much more sense.
Subtract 3x, add 2, add 2. These goes subtract to 0, leaving me with 3x on the right side equal to 15. What do you do now?
Divided by 3.
X is equal to?
5.